Well, welcome to the Planning and Environment Committee meeting on the 17th of November. Do we have any apologies for absence? Item 2, to note declaration of members' interest as the agenda is being sent out. Anyone got any pecuniary interest? Non-pecuniary? No. Thank you. Can we confirm the minutes of the planning meeting that took place on the 13th of October?
Voted, Chair.
Is that okay, colleagues?
Yeah.
Thank you. Certainly sound that one. Okay, well, item 4 is public participation. At this stage, can I ask your permission to bring the agenda item 8, Mid Cheshire Hospital Foundation Trust, to colleagues here so they can come on next, and then they'll not have to sit through another hour or so for a planning application. Is that okay?
Yeah.
To do that. Okay then. Well, two colleagues from introduce themselves and
Shall I start off?
whatever you want.
So, I'm Chris Knight, I'm Programme Director at Leighton. My colleague Dean Bentley, Production Director. So, what we want to do is just literally run us through where we're at as a programme. And give you a little bit more feedback on where we've gotten to with our formal consultation on planning. So, I can, is that okay? So that just to try and land this is not conceptual. All these people are now in post. This is my teams. So probably about 40 people now working on the project on a day-to-day basis. So we have an allocation. We got a letter from the Secretary of State confirming that allocation, and I'm now in the second stage of the process to secure the overall funding for the hospital. So when I asked about the why are we in the programme, it's one word, it's RAC. So reinforced autoclave variation concrete, and it was the hospital was built in 1972, and it had a life expectancy then of 30 years. So we are now well past our sell-by date, and everything that you see there in the orange colour is all RAC plank concrete. So that's why we're in the programme. That's why we urgently need to replace the hospital. So in terms of where we are now, we were very fortunate about 18 months ago where we were effectively able to access 3 parcels of land. So the area here is in blue is effectively our land now. But in March of last year, we completed on 3 parcels of land, which enabled us to move forward with effectively building the hospital in the northern periphery of our hospital site. So, and from our perspective, the one thing that we are absolutely not doing when we demolish the existing lane is we are not going to be selling that for residential property. We are going to be keeping it for health-related services. It will be our land, and we will be managing that agenda as a health and care neighbourhood. So from our point of view, Leighton is the first building block in that space. I can give you some numbers, but there are huge sums of money involved here. Just on digital alone, we recently invested in an electronic patient record, but over and above that, I think our allowance is £110 million for digital. So it will be a very digitally advanced facility. We've got a further, I think, about £50 million in net zero carbon technology. And just the equipment budget alone is getting on to £80 million. So it's an enormous amount of investment coming into the local area. And from our perspective, we are mandated around rehab. So that's effectively a environmental measurement about how energy efficient and how environmentally friendly our building is. And we are mandated to provide excellent income space. So I'm conscious I'm rattling through it, so I'm going to hand over to Dean on the design.
Thank you, Chris. So I think first thing to mention about the design is that the hospital was delivered using Hospital 2.0, and that's the framework that we use to deliver and design all hospital projects as part of the new hospital programme. So essentially what that does is gives us templates and standard layouts for individual departments, so A&E, pathology, about 80% of the space we're going to be providing. It's then our remit to kind of glue those together and apply them in a local context. Benefits around Hospital 2.0 include standardisation, integration of digital, which we've covered, strong focus on using modern methods of construction, which help with sustainability, strong focus on patient experience, and it also allows for flexibility as well and adaptation in the future. So we looked at for the kind of last 12 months, we looked at a number of options as part of the options assessment, a number of which we've ruled out because they didn't meet Hospital 2.0, they caused us construction or logistical issues, they didn't give us that future expansion opportunity that we required, didn't give us the clinical and operational functionality, and to be honest, the key driver was around not giving us the clinical travel distances that we required. So you kind of look at some of the options on the top right hand corner. They've been based on more of a traditional approach of a long hospital corridor with services kind of coming off the corridor. So it's very similar to what we've got now. It doesn't give us the clinical travel distances that we require. So what we did, we then moved on. Just skip a slide. So we then focused on more of a pinwheel design, a centralised access point. So it's Chris magic point. So centralised access point. So you come into the heart of the hospital. And by doing that, it's a maximum of 8 minutes to any part of the hospital, which is a significant improvement of what we've got now. So this is a new hospital in pink, which is going to be 6 stories high, which is approximately 4 metres. You've got the service yard to the north of the site with a central sterile services department and an energy barn. We're also creating a new access point into the service yard, which will be off Flowers Lane. And we're also creating a new blue light access point as well, which is off Millwich Lane. In addition to the main hospital, we're also proposing an ambulatory cancer care centre, which will be between 3 and 4 stories high. And then we've also got a multi-storey car park sat behind that. You can see the retained estate, the existing estate actually in the blue dotted line there. And anything in blue, solid blue hatch, is our R10 buildings. So they're not affected by that. Relatively good condition, or we can look to repurpose it or Alright, perfect. Won't go into too much detail on the clinical adjacencies, but essentially what we've got, ground floor is split between hot services and cold services. So you've got A&E, centre urgent and emergency care services there, and then outpatients to the right hand side. Above that, it's very similar. You've got our theatre and another level on outpatient services. Above that, which is here, we've then got an interstitial plant deck, which will feed up and down. And then above that, you've then got 3 stories of wards. So the wards are generally arranged in pairs with a shared knuckle space. Just move those on. So a bit of a 3D visual, just to give you an indication of how the hospital will stack. So as I mentioned, the main entrance to the south there, the ED block, outpatients, So we've also looked at pedestrian cycle route, well-being routes, and parking zones. So some of the feedback we've had from as part of the public consultation was around well, how we're going to connect the cycle routes. And our proposal is to do that to the south of the site, where we do have an existing cycle route, connect that through the existing site and then onto Flowers Lane at the top there. So it does give you that connectivity all the way through the site. We're also proposing a wellbeing route as well, so that can move staff, patients, visitors. And then in terms of parking, we are proposing a multi-storey car park with maximum capacity of 1,000 spaces, and that's in addition to the surface level car parks that we'll be retaining as well. Next one. So very much a concept at the moment, but as you can see, the new hospital to the north of the site. The overarching aspiration is to create a healthcare neighbourhood, so convert what was our existing estate into wider healthcare services. So that could be anything from health and well-being. We've got a gym on here, transport hub, etc., etc. That is a concept at the moment, but it is something we're currently working through. It kind of goes back to Chris's point, is that it's not our intention to sell this land and convert to anything similar to residential things like this. So, in terms of next steps then, we concluded our public consultation. So we're just reviewing that feedback at the moment. And that's in preparation for our planning application, which we are aiming to submit on the 12th of December, which should hopefully give us a determination period of May, June next year. That will then allow us to submit our outline business case September 26th. And we'll also be commencing some enabling works mid to late 2026, subject to planning approval as well. Current target is to submit the full business case in early 28, which should allow us to commence works on site for the new hospital in summertime 2028, with an anticipated completion date of 2032. Following completion of the new hospital, we will then commence the demolition of the retained estate, which will form part of the planning application in December.
I feel like
So that was a very quick whistle stop tour. We're really excited. Hopefully you guys are excited as well. Happy to take any questions. If there's any feedback you want to provide after this session, please feel free to reach out.
Well, thank you. Obviously, we don't want to get into the because when we get a planning application, we would then make a comment from the town council.
Yeah.
But the feedback that you have with over several weeks, was there a lot of feedback?
Yeah, so we've been into 3 formal discussions and a couple of other informal ones. And I've got to say the local community are massively supportive on one caveat, which is please give us a car park. The nature of the discussions that we've been having with the local authority are very much the two are linked. So there will be a multi-storey car park as part of the hospital provision. And I think that we'll be feeding that one back to the local community. It has got out there now, as you will see it's a little bit more on social media, etc. So I think the local community are aware that there will be a multi-storey. I guess from our perspective, we've got to deliver that, but that's definitely been the only sort of challenge back to us around the car park.
And so some of the planning applications that we've seen through the sort of evolved through the years, and some of them are actually built off site and then brought in. Would that be that? The way that you see that going?
Yeah, not the frame itself. So we'll be using a concrete frame just from a sustainability perspective. There is a strong drive towards industrialisation. So modern methods of construction from a kind of plant perspective. So we may bring in all plant units ready built, handling units connected, etc. On suites we may bring in as modules, so we'll just drop them in. So the structure itself won't be modular, but the components within it, there's a strong drive to factor that in.
Yeah. Okay, you go first.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. It's interesting, and there is a need, obviously. Just a question of the time frame, because it was a good question that you asked, John, which is a question I was going to ask. Was it going to be built on site or brought in? Because the time frame is such a long time.
Yeah.
You know, 2028 to 2032. That's a hell of a long time for the public to have the benefit of it. Why would it take that long? Because I just seem to think that things seem to take such a long time, and then things tend to move as a result of the time frame, because economies change, things change, and what is proposed is very difficult to deliver. So
I absolutely agree.
yeah,
I think just to be clear, we have to go through 3 phases of approval.
right.
So we're through the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is September of next year, which is outline business case, which is effectively the building will be in its pre-construction design state at that point. So we would have been in a position to cost it nearly. The year after that, September 27, is a full business case, and that's with all the construction contracts and all the pricing agreed. And this is a big building. It's 105,000 square meters, and it's going to be designed, got to be safe. The other thing that we're having to do is, and again, it's the right thing to do, the Building Safety Act, like at Grenfell, is a massive challenge. So we are deemed to be a high-risk buildings. We've got to go through what we call BSA regulatory approval, which there's a 20-week lead-in time for that. So I think it's fair to say Dean and I are keen to bring it to the left in terms of the dates. So we've given you worst-case scenario. Honestly, I couldn't tell you how long it's going to take to build. We think it's about 4 years.
Yeah, well, I was touching really on, because I saw the screen that really the construction would start 2028, because you've got to go through what you've just said for the obvious reasons, of course. That is paramount. But thereafter, when it comes to, right, let's start building, it's that period I was referring to.
So
because why is it from 2028 to 2032? Again, that's 4 years.
It is.
Yeah, so it's that bit I was referring to, when you could perhaps bring in stuff like John was saying, pre-built,
So
make it pretty quickly.
Again, I think that we've given you a space scenario.
Right, okay.
Dean and I don't want to overpromise.
No, fair enough.
So we're in a place whereby we've said 4 years plus 6 months.
Right.
We'll get the building after 4 years, and then we'll commission it for a further 6 months. It could be that it's quicker than that through the issues that Dean's just described. But fundamentally, I want it to be safe, and that's the.
One more last question is, when you're referring to concrete, like, this other one, the original one was concrete, and obviously that's got a limited lifetime. I'm wondering why it might be a stupid question, but can't use other materials that are a lot more, I've got more longevity than the 30 years kind of thing, with the money that you've just described is necessary.
I think what we're proposing now in terms of concrete are significant.
Right, fair enough.
So rack is very unique.
Okay.
Type of concrete. What we're proposing is a thing like post tension wall, post concrete, so it will give you the equivalent of a steel frame building.
Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Dennis.
Thank you. One of the biggest complaints that I get about the hospital is having to pay for the car park. And I can understand it. People want to go and visit their relatives who are ill. The last thing they want to do is come out and have to pay for the car park. So is that going to be the same, or is that another way of raising money? And the other question I'd like to ask is, you said that the land, you've got no intention of selling the land for housing, but we've heard this before where firms have turned around and said they'll do something in Crewe, it's going to cost you 10 quid, and it ends up costing 45. I know I'm exaggerating the price, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so what guarantee have we got that in the end of it, you're going to say, well, if we sell that for housing, we're going to get a lot of our money back?
Yeah, I think, do you want me to? I'll do it. So The white buildings that you see on that plan there, so are the buildings that they're the rack buildings. The green ones we're going to be retaining. So there's elements of the existing site that we will be keeping for healthcare. So it won't allow us to sell that land even if we wanted to, because we do need that for health facilities. So there is no way, and I'm sure my chief exec would say the same thing, we will not be selling the land for residential. That's a given.
I'm glad to hear it,
Thank you.
but I won't be hearing.
No,
That's all. So I'm going to do them all a favour.
Well, you'll be the first page.
I just hope that in 2032
Thank you.
I can see you again and you'll turn around and say, definitely right.
So the car parking charges I can't comment on. There's no. I'll be honest. There's no conversations that we're having about making it free to the end user. That's not something that's on our radar. But from a car parking point of view, I can tell you there'll be 1,000 space multi-story. So that has to be paid for somehow. So that's the reality of it.
Okay, right, thank you. Last question.
Well, it's a sort of twofold. So those white buildings, they're presumably going to be demolished.
They're all going.
They're all going. These are houses, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the email as we speak.
Yeah. So I just want to get a reorientation right then. Is that Flowers Lane?
That's right. That's right.
And what's that? Is that the stump?
That's the old Flowers Lane.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can picture it now. Yeah. So my main other question isn't about car park. People have been on about this and saying, why didn't the council build a car park at Leighton Hospital? And it's fairly obvious we can't answer that one. But what about public transport access?
So that is one of the things we are. So that's a great question, and we've had the conversations already with the local authority about enhancing public transport offer. So that would definitely be something that we're keen on doing. They're out of consultation at the moment on their borough-wide local transport plan, and we fed into that. So part of what we're trying to do on the wider master plan is not just about multi-storey, it's about bus terminals, so that we can create that environment whereby staff and patients can access more readily available public transport.
That would be good, because that's the obvious thing to encourage the public facility. And at the moment, we've just got one bus stop, and it's fairly drafted. And it's not really fit for purpose.
So it is definitely in our plans to be doing something along those lines.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, well, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
General, you
Can
can
take them all the way now. So,
Hey, I thought you were leaving.
So somebody did ask me at consultation, you're not making green, are you? So I said, no, I'm not.
Good.
Thank you very much for the invite.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just to see you around. Oh, go definitely straight there.
One item agenda.
Yeah.
What's that like? Yeah.
I do very well. So I just wish it would be quicker. I mean, I know the process takes the time that's necessary.
Okay, then. Is there still on item 4, public participation? Has there been any questions sent in? No. Okay, then let's move on then to item 5 again.
Yeah.
Oh, someone missing.
No, thank you.
Good luck. We ain't got item 5.
Right.
The next,
4 to 6.
no, is it installation of the BT? Is that one? Then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that one.
That seems to be missing. Is that the
Yeah.
3875?
253875.
And then we've got 3874, which is similar.
Yeah, that's
Right.
it. Yeah.
It's just missing off the top. That's
Oh,
why
okay.
I'm just-
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, so
It's all right.
So item 5 then, the first one is installation of a BT street hall. This is similar to what we've seen the private sectors put in. We've had applications in recent times. BT are now catching up. And these are, I think, existing telephone kiosks, which they want to convert.
Right.
They've got 2 kiosks there. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
they
I
make
know
one.
those, yeah.
It's what we've looked at.
We have, haven't we? Yeah.
Past. So
Right.
really, it's and that's in 42 Market Street.
Yeah.
That one. Is that where that one? Just so we're not confused. Right. Okay. Is any comment? Do you want to make any comment on that? Oh,
Not really.
no,
I suppose it is what it is, isn't it?
if it benefits the
Yeah.
people. So then we've got 30.
38 for the same again, but advertising.
That's just average. Yeah. Well, that's. I think that's the idea of it. Really.
That's all it's for.
So again,
Not really. Yeah.
right. It's okay then.
Yeah.
So the next one would be 25 38 79. Footpath outside 215 Nantwich Road.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
And
Just
the next
further
one is
down.
advertisement. Take them two together. They're again existing telephone,
That's it. There, not yeah.
and they just want to convert it.
Convert
It's
it.
not as if we're looking at
No,
someone
we're
that
not
hasn't
new.
got
Yeah,
anything.
nothing new. Yeah.
When we'd be looking for
That looks smarter anyway,
where they're putting it.
doesn't it? It looks smarter, doesn't it? The new one.
I just wonder that it is a little bit different to the one that it's in the town centre. Do you remember there was a similar one we had a discussion about further up Nantwich Road at Wood Street, which has now been installed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
That's
you
the one
remember,
on the left, isn't it? The one on the right. Nice.
but if you remember, there were comments made at the time about the positioning of that particular one on the corner of Wood Street. It's moved somewhere further down. And then the bus drivers complained about the impact it would have on their sight lines. I just wonder if there's any such comment that would be relevant to this.
That one's been there for ages.
I think
That one has, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the problem would be, Steve, in this case, there's an existing box there, and they don't propose to put it anywhere but on that. It looks from that angle that it's probably flatter, slightly wider,
Just look at it.
doesn't it? But that could be deceptive. But the one you're right, we made comment and we objected to it simply because it was on the corner, wasn't it? But this is just really like for like.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to make comment, but there's no street coming out. It's just an alley. The next one would be an alleyway with very little traffic.
Yeah. The point of that is circumstances are slightly different.
Yeah.
And it's not, and this one isn't exactly adjacent to a bus stop on that side of the road. The Wood Street one was moved further down the street, and now supposedly impedes.
The bus stop's on the other end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Past Walsall Street. So we wouldn't have any at that point.
Yeah, I think we agree, probably no comment.
I mean, if there was nothing there, then we would have to look at that
We would to see what impact
how
it
close
would
it was.
make, yeah.
So,
I mean, unless it's a big box, because we haven't got a 3D view of it, so it's unless it's took up more space that way, but I don't think it has. It doesn't look like it has. Looks the same.
unless there's another picture.
Looks the same. Looks like for like, but a modern version of it.
Yeah. I'm confused where it looks in that one.
Because the existing one looks a bit scruffy, doesn't it?
So, do you want to make any comment?
No, I think it's unless we've misjudged it or
let's move on then.
Let's
Let's move on. We don't want to labour the point there. The next one would be 25 41 34. 197 Ruskin Road, rear extension and block paved driveway and drop curb to the floor. This is one near to Gainsborough Road. That's where it is. That's the church in
Oh, yeah.
church in
Oh, yeah,
Gainsborough
there's a
Road.
lot there.
Stevens, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So he wants to, whoever the applicant is, wants to put the block at the front to get cars off the road because there's yellow lines outside there.
There is there, yeah.
So that would be why they want to put block, and then at the rear it's that extension. You know, we'd have to ask the usual question: does it take out any light from next to the door? Is there any other pictures?
Yeah.
I'll have a look.
That's only one story, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So it's just a single
story.
Yeah.
That looks okay.
That's
better.
So is that mirroring and it's coming out there?
Let's have a look.
Next door just seems to have like a lead to, doesn't it? But it's not impacting.
No. Unless they've got
Neighbours not complained.
no.
No,
Unless they've got a window and that's going to shadow them, but I mean,
Well, the rear, the neighbouring property, you can see the back, the downstairs room at the
yeah,
back.
they've got. Is that a window or a door?
It won't change the view from there, will it?
No, not if it's got
All
windows
else
in it.
is the yard anyway.
Not as if they've got a conservatory, which
No.
some would have had.
That's right. Yeah.
So again, do you want to make any comment? Oh yeah,
Is there no windows on there?
That's what I was just looking.
I think it might
Is
just
that
be
their window?
might be a leak, toilet, a bit of toilet, or
Probably. Yeah.
or a shed
these
that's
Mm.
connected. But, I mean, they're very deceptive because they're not always to
To scale.
scale, so it can be quite deceptive. What they did show is that both houses had similar,
They did
Yeah.
initially.
and they're asking to
Oh.
actually take it out.
I just wondered why there's no windows, that's all.
Well, see, they're both. They look.
That's what they were like.
We can only speculate. We shouldn't really speculate.
No.
It's got no windows. It's got a door.
Yeah.
And
that's okay in that case. Yeah.
Again,
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It seemed very
Yeah.
sensible.
okay with that.
It actually seemed very sensible to have that front.
It does, yeah,
parking
for the parking, yeah.
as well. That's a good aspect.
Okay
to it,
then.
I think.
Yeah.
Right, next one.
Do you think we could make that comment?
No, what comment?
Well, promote the use of people's front garden where they don't have a garden.
Do that.
There is a number down there that have done that.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah, it's sort of to commend the worthwhile use of the front yard to ease traffic congestion or something like that. Why not? We might pay for other things. We might get so you know what it's like. Crewe numbers might pick that up and they'll say, what a great idea that is.
Before Steve gets
We've
carried
solved
away
the traffic congestion. Let's go to the next
You
may laugh, they laughed at
No, you're
Christopher
quite right.
Columbus as well.
Have you got that, Katie?
Yes.
Excellent, you've got that, Steve.
Except for,
Right,
yeah.
25, 39, 50. Brunswick Hotel. Change of use of ground floor from Class C1 hotel to Class E restaurant with installation of extract canopy to the side elevation. So,
That's just your side plans, nothing more.
it's the extract that's
No, preview.
that's ugly, isn't it?
Oh, you all have those though, don't they? These restaurants, it's quite big extract.
Right.
They all look very ugly. You know.
Yeah. So that's the side street, which is a dead end, isn't it?
But we haven't got enough restaurants up at that which
It's really, it's not really aesthetic, is it? But, it's about noise as well.
Yeah, does it affect anybody else on that street though with the noise?
No, it's
No, that alleyway.
there is a number of people live above the flats,
That's what I was
live above
thinking.
the
Yeah,
shops. and
yeah,
that.
that's what I think. That would be noisy for them, wouldn't it?
Is there
Oh.
accommodation above the proposed restaurant at the Brunswick? Have they got anyone living in flats above?
Well, not yet.
Not yet. They probably would,
Well,
won't they? So,
We can only what's in front of us,
so
which
they may
says.
not want a big extractor fan outside.
I think that
Usually little stairs, don't they? So.
Well,
Well,
yes.
it does. Yeah, but it makes the point that this is a change of use of the ground floor from being a hotel. So there must have been some rooms up there.
there was.
I mean, there used to be a big meeting. Remember that?
There was bed and breakfast at one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can only concentrate on what's
Yeah.
there.
What's going on?
So looking at that canopy, what should we be mindful of? The noise.
I think it just depends on the street.
Oh.
Isn't that alleyway
Have a
the
look.
one it's just
No, it's
I don't know.
yeah, that is the side entrance
Yeah.
where you used to get into the pub,
Mhm.
and then you've got the
Got the alleyway
fence
down
there. You can't get through. No.
And there's like a sort of business industrial development sort of behind that. I can't remember the name of the street.
there
There
is.
used to be a street there.
Owen Street.
Sorry?
Owen.
I can't see it's going to impact anybody.
All right. Okay.
I mean, going
can
back
see
in-
now where it
Going
is.
back in the time, that street, which has got a name, and to use the name,
Oh, there it is.
it was the entrance to a clothing factory that was on the side behind. It's
Yeah, I
now
can see that.
Yeah.
just electrical. So that Longford Street,
That's it, yeah.
and that behind it, that was a clothing factory, and that's where they used to go in.
See.
And then when they demolished the clothing factory, they put a fence across there, so the only all you get access is to the public outside entrance and to the what would be a shop there, and maybe people living above that. So I think we should make comment of noise.
Yes.
It's got to be because if people live in that proximity,
Yes.
along there. I mean, it's not when they're new; it's when they start getting age, and you've got to make certain that the noise. But other than that, it looks
Yeah,
nice.
I agree. Yeah, I've just got it up, so I know exactly what street is that. I can see
Yeah.
it there now. So yeah, it's just those upstairs in the flats.
So we should just make comment then.
Yeah, about the noise. Yeah,
You know,
Just
Yeah.
noise.
that's it. Apart from that, yeah.
because capture that there are people living
Yeah.
within, and there's certainly people living behind in the next street. Right. Next one then.
Okay.
25, 38, 30, King George V playing field, and this is Crewe FC, who have had permission in recent times to put a 3G pitch on there. I want now two applications out. We'll take them each one as it goes. This is to put a storage container 30 foot long by 8 feet wide and 9'6" in depth, where they'll store their football equipment. So I think it's key for this one and the next one that we can look and see that they're on that plot of land that they're I think renting off or they get a lease off Cheshire East, who are the owners of that particular playing field. And it's just there in the top left hand, that red. That's it there, indicated. So again, you've got to be careful of scale because that's suggesting that's 30 feet. And there's a football pitch. So that's what they say they want. So if it's on their land and not extending it out, I suppose.
What does it mean on the on the second one it says, and within the land that has been disposed of?
Yeah, well,
Who disposed of it?
well, Cheshire East do, because of the nature of that Cheshire East will give them, well, not give them, but at least for 25 years, that plot of land to put a football pitch on.
Right.
And there's now saying this application is to put that box,
Yeah.
which is them tin sheds out there where they go in, which is fine. And then the next one is different. It's putting tennis court.
Oh, is that what it
So
is?
we've got to be mindful of that. We can fit all that on within that designated
Space, yeah,
area.
designated
Because-
area.
Can't sign the lease. It says when you read through until it's been completed, and then they can sign a 25-year lease, and that's their responsibility to
Maintain the whole lot.
QFC. Yeah,
Right.
this is just a. So I don't think there's anything that's within a fence, isn't it?
Just a standard shipping container.
Yeah, that's
They are, yeah.
So I think we should move on to the next one to see where these paddle courts go, and then where the box would fit, which is 3623. It would like to build 3 covered paddle courts alongside the new 3G pitch within the land that's been disposed of. That's what it says on this one. Right.
Ah, right.
So
Yeah. It's behind the what do you call it? The George's.
that's
Building, yeah.
that was a squash court. That one, it's a gym, I think now.
Yeah.
The rectangular one, and then the changing rooms for the Georges was on there, wasn't it, for the football teams? And I think there's a picture where you can see the shape. It's what. See these paddle courts. On the previous application, that was standing. It was classed as standing spectator area. So they clearly putting that in there. Presumably, you can get some revenue because they get to do that. People will pay to that, wouldn't they? So let's just before we move. So that box is going to go somewhere to that shipping container within the boundary, isn't it?
Yes.
According to that previous.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I think if you have a look at the other ones,
That,
just to the right.
Well, as soon as that fence, that dotted line to your
Yeah.
right now.
That black box.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's not it.
It's just there by there though.
Try to go back to the last application.
When you look at the previous one, it does say that there is a container where they would put where you would have to have some maintenance equipment in.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that before. Have we?
Oh, it's so user friendly system.
Leslie's still got it. Maybe all the answers were the union, aren't they?
Well, that's again.
Well, yes, well, if we haven't got the benefits of artificial intelligence, have we? Would it be such a benefit to it, wouldn't it?
Right. This is the rules.
That's it there. That one, that. See, it says double.
And that says double leaf access.
You say
Oh,
the
I see.
gate.
Oh, I see.
So they wouldn't. So it's to that right. Then,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
But it's behind them gates.
So they would get both in.
that corner. Yeah.
So the 3 paddle courts, lighting covered. We probably should look at what they look like and see how the houses do. I mean, there's nothing on there, is it? Particularly behind the human man. It's very difficult, really, to try and get the distance, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
God.
If it's not human, who's it going to be? That's what I don't get. If it's not human, then why do we have other people? Other species? I don't know about.
It's determined to make you life for something.
Yeah.
He doesn't like us keep going back and two.
Of course.
I see that human. It's funny though. Interesting. That's that question.
That one. Let's have a look at.
Yes. Which percentage of them say floodlights? Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is it?
Which one is?
Right. I don't know. It's very difficult
Isn't it just?
to get the distance, and I think we should make some comment to that. That it's all right saying that it'll fit in, but does it even?
Yeah, there was a thing that said it said location. Sorry.
It looks like it goes on the football pitch.
Yeah, I think, yeah. It's just the way that they do the drawings. They do.
There was a thing saying location plan. Will that tell you more? Like, have an idea of distance. When you scrolled across, there was one saying location plan. Where there was it? Did it say location, or was I just making that up? Storage. Yeah, it said location, didn't it? Something like
Lost the will to live.
just location plan. I don't know. Maybe because you skipped quick.
Right, hang on, man.
That's it. That location. That's it. Let's just have a look at that. Does that give us any more information?
That's
Does that?
that'll be
That
what
makes it
the.
clear.
Yeah, that does.
That's
it.
very clear. I would say.
Right. Makes everything clear, doesn't it?
I thought that gave us a bit more indication. Did it say location?
Let's try and sum it up then.
Tony,
In
stop
principle,
while you're
what
losing.
in principle what they're trying to do is fine, but the concern we may have is that will that fit on that site and people through?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's what we're trying to establish. Yeah.
Because you know they can make a drawing to suit very nice, but
So does that boil down to, does that allow pedestrian access from, say, where the car park is, across towards the, I don't know, the east, if you like, rather than going out on the road?
I mean it does
What's
say.
the impact on pedestrian access to other parts of the Georges?
Yeah, well, it did say on that where the paddle courts were where people could stand. Now, understanding the nature of watching Crewe FC, where it is now on the Cumberland, you can get a fair amount of people there.
You can, yeah.
Now they're putting a paddle court there, so where would people, you
Yeah,
know,
whether, yeah,
what I'm saying
exactly.
is, it's probably right,
Mm.
but we can't really tell, I
No,
don't think.
I think okay.
So I think, well, it's up to you.
We
But
could do with like, we could do with a proper 3D. You
well,
can't really tell, can you?
I think to move us on, I think we can say that the storage container is within that site, and that is okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
But the paddle court, where does that fit? Does the room around it? Is there sufficient
Yeah,
room for access from
that's
where
what we
people
need
have to come
clarifying.
onto the pitch and
Yeah,
so on?
that's what we need
We
clarifying.
could even ask, what is a paddle court anyway? I mean, I've never heard of paddle.
It's a more
small
modern version of
court.
tennis.
It is, yeah, just it's one of them, isn't it? Yeah, it is, yeah. Mm.
Never heard of it.
Thanks for asking. They've got one on the vagrants, and apparently they're very, very successful. People like it.
It's not pickleball.
Oh, it's not real tennis either.
No, that's an indoor.
Anyway,
sport,
let's
isn't
stick
it?
to the planning committee tonight. Do you want to make any comment on the paddle court one and it's
Yeah, yeah. As
just the,
you described it, John.
Hope no one drowns.
is it
you
within there?
described-
And
yeah,
there
that-
will be sufficient
yeah,
access around
around
that,
it.
so that how people,
Correct.
if people are paddling and also football,
That's right. Is there space around it so
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
all
that's
have the
fair.
access that they deserve, really?
so I'll guarantee that everything is in their boundary and
Correct,
sufficient
yeah.
area around it
Yeah,
to operate.
yeah.
Because that could well be just on there to get more money.
That's right. Rather than exactly, yeah.
So is that okay?
Yeah.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
I think we got there.
Eventually.
What's up? That one. Go on.
I don't know what.
Right, item 6, seriously now, to consider making responses to any planning application that have risen since the agenda. The first one is 254304, Legends. Apparently voters would they want to put panels for non-domestic buildings.
Which one?
Have you got the extra page now?
I've got that one. I think I have that one. Yeah.
Are they what I know as solar?
Basically, yes, that's all right.
That
As
should
long as I know what I'm talking about. I can change it.
Yeah.
Tenants everywhere.
Yeah.
Bentley.
Mm.
They want to put them across the roads. It's okay.
Well, they've got them
But
everywhere.
there, it's
Yeah.
not.
That's fine. That's pretty straightforward.
It's that blue bit there, isn't it? Or the top one there, yeah. That, if you look at the lower one, it's just,
Right. Yeah.
they just want to fill that in and put the cells on there.
It's fair enough. That
I
is.
don't think they,
I don't think
No.
an issue with that. Yeah.
no, I'd
Fine.
stay with that,
Yeah.
no comment.
Okay. Yeah.
25 43 60 54 56 Nantwich Road. Extraction canopy to read. It's got a theme.
Extraction.
This is next door to the pig.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
To the word.
on the corner.
Yeah.
Used to be
This is the one we looked at the other week where it was it burger beef or big burger or some such name. Again, we'd have to know people live up there.
used to be a BMX shop and then it was central. It's cool.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, next to the pigs. That's the restaurant to be.
Elevation front.
It doesn't suggest that. That's what it's called. You won't be. So where's the extraction canopy?
Really, that's something really bad, so from the back of there, which nothing is shown in there.
Well, it's got to be on the back
Well,
as
that
well.
should be here
It's the
somewhere
kitchen.
in the kitchen. isn't it?
You got that time, it's more of a kitchen.
Oh, is that upstairs?
That's front elevation there. On the bottom proposed, like existing and proposed front elevation. So it should be on the proposed front elevation. Yeah,
What's it? Sorry, okay, just go back. What? I can't quite read that. What does that say? That is up on. Is that a double bed? Or is my imagination?
right.
Which bits there's
Coming
flat,
out in snow.
office then. Wash area.
So what's on this bottom bit here then? You scroll down. So there's already a flat upstairs.
Proposed internal layout.
Seats, 26.
It says extraction canopy to the rear. So,
We haven't got the right.
We haven't got a rear. We haven't got a rear plan, have we? Is it the top one? Perhaps.
Seems to be two of everything, but not what we want.
Maybe it's the top. Maybe it's the top one, but they just haven't written rear. That very top one, existing, proposed. That one. I wonder.
I think that's the one we just did.
Oh, they're all the
What's
same.
lower down? Is that the existing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they've uploaded. They've not uploaded it. They're all the same.
Front site and existing, and then the same again.
Yeah, they're not uploaded.
So we haven't got all.
No, they haven't uploaded it.
So we need to put that.
No, it's not, I don't.
No.
Please.
We need to. I don't recommend seeing the plans of that where it said there was a flat. Was that good? That's a flat on the bottom floor.
Looks like it.
I
It
don't
says-
think we've seen
Well,
that.
this is, it says proposed there, and I mean,
So that must be it, as it is now when it was.
is it the old solicitor's place?
No, it's next to the pig.
that's next
Yeah,
to
there's
it.
big. Right in the corner.
Right, so let's put comment that they're the wrong
They
to
are.
what we're looking at.
Yeah,
That is
they're wrong. Yeah.
application.
Yeah. It's not there.
Maybe they want to make the comment about that, but that doesn't suggest that, does it?
No, I mean, it looks as if there's something as an extension at the back being added.
At some point, yes.
It's added to what exists.
So we could put that. That's. We're not able to comment on that, but we
We could say it's
we have a concern about what is. That.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be there now for all.
Well, could we make comment that owing to the inadequacy of the plans that have been presented, we can't make a sensible comment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just if they don't apply, it doesn't make sense.
They've
Yes,
not uploaded
you'd
the
be
right
happy with
plans.
that.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
not uploaded the right plans. You can't make a decision.
You make that as robust as you want.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
We could have just say, Chair, I mean, extraction canopy to the rear. That came up. That was something we dealt with last time anyway. Just on the advert pack with a different reference. Well, we did anyway.
Right.
It was dealt with last meeting.
They've got God noted, haven't they? Right. Let's move on. 2610. Vending altars again. Advertisement consent for updating of existing signage.
Wings logo. That should be straightforward.
To view the new wings logo.
Yeah, that should be straightforward. Actually.
I think we can.
We don't need to look at that.
We've got clocks this
I
time,
can't believe it.
not wings.
No comment.
I think we'll let Ben to get away with that. Right, next one then. 254199, 21 Tennyson Avenue, single story side extension.
That's a bungalow. That's a bungalow.
That's about the sixth time.
Why are we employing aliens who have to prove they're
We're
human?
not, I'm proving that we're not. Always good to check.
Won't say anything. Won't say anything, Dennis.
So this is
Is it bungalow?
That's
Bungalow. Single story side extension.
a bungalow in Tennyson Avenue.
Yeah. It's an attached bungalow. Yeah. The Sunday
Single
bungalow.
story
Yeah.
extension.
They've got space.
Yeah,
On the
So look at
on
the.
the yeah.
See if we're. Oh, look. Oh, that's not.
That's all right.
No.
Yeah.
That's okay. That is. It doesn't impact on anybody.
Plenty of room.
Plenty. Yeah.
That's not going to.
No, that's going to finish it off. That's pretty straightforward, Dennis.
Okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, no comment. The next one then. 254230, 26 Market Street. Change of use to sue generous hot food takeaway, deal, including internal fit out, installation of rear extraction flue,
The one.
3 metres, and fan unit, and alterations to the front shop front, bringing entrance door flush with the facade and install new signage.
Market Street.
This is
Oh, I've seen that out west.
this is just up the road. And this was the old pit, the pit shop next to the Coles betting shop.
Is it not the NatWest?
Where they did the pit.
Oh, there. On the other side of the road.
So at the rear,
Opposite the that way.
Oh,
Next to
yeah.
Corals.
the rear would
next
be
to
the
Coles.
extraction flue.
Is it that one?
Again, there were people
Yeah,
living.
Farrell's, yeah.
Yeah, 26 like.
Accommodation. It looks like it's that one. Should we put consultation or something?
Yes, it was a PIP centre
Yeah.
at one time. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's
That's
it. Yeah,
the
that's
place.
it. Yeah. So what do you want? All right, that seems straightforward, doesn't it?
They are.
At least it'll be new, so I wonder what sort of food it is.
Yeah.
So the rear of it is the public house,
Yes.
Albert's Court.
Oh, Albert's Court,
So
yeah, of course it will
Yeah,
be.
that's street back.
That's
of
where
course it
the
will be.
extraction from. So,
Right.
again, it's about noise
Yes.
because there's flats. There's a flat above the pub and
There
in
is,
Cable
yeah.
Chambers is 20 odd flats, isn't there?
Yeah, there is,
Yes. And it looks to me like there's going to be accommodation above that coral, the coral betting shop on the corner.
Yeah.
Something going on up top there. Looks like
Right.
it might.
So again, it's good.
So there'll be people living very nearby. They're not there at the moment.
I can't make a comment about
No,
that.
that's
shop.
it really, it's
It
just
is what it
that,
is,
that's
isn't it?
just that, yeah.
If you want to invest
yeah.
money
Yeah,
over the shop, good
yeah,
on.
yeah,
So again, it's that flue and
Yeah.
the fan unit.
yeah.
It's well over air conditioning. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine,
noise
that is,
mitigation,
yeah.
that's what it's for.
We seem to have a look, don't we, of the slew. Right. So that was item 6. Item 7, to no responses submitted under delegations from the previous meeting. Well, we sent them out, didn't we? They're in there. So item 8, we've dealt with that with our colleagues that came from the hospital. Item 9, to note correspondence associated with Cheshire East regarding planning enforcement and planning issues. And 10, to receive an update on the progress of the food conservation area appraisal. And I think Liz has gone out now to get Vicky. She's going to at the back of your pack was advice note
in colour where they're necessary. That's
To note the changes and talk about it. Have you?
Okay.
Okay.
See?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Please, thank you.
So, included in your agenda pack is an advice note from Purcell UK, who we appointed to undertake the conservation area appraisal back in 2023. As the document lays out, we've been through a number of iterations, working closely with Cheshire East to try and reach agreement on what would work for the conservation area. So the work that we've now done, reasoning for inclusion, is on page 4. This is the new proposal for the conservation area, which is laid out around the importance of Crewe as a model town and using the foundation streets as the main reasoning for the inclusion of this area. Page 5 lays out the key elements of the character and significance as detailed by Purcell UK using their standard assessment tools. Obviously, originally, the plans that you've seen included a wider character area. There were 5 originally, and therefore the final parts of the report on page 6 and 7 lay out some of the buildings that would benefit from another layer of protection if they're not in a conservation area. So to look at potentially local listing, which was a project that was begun in 2021 and has not been completed. It's not been a republication of the local list. So we would like to ask Cheshire East to consider these properties or these areas for potential inclusion. This document has been shared with Cheshire East officers and we're giving them some time to digest that. We're looking towards a meeting in early December to determine if this approach would work for Cheshire East as the adopting authority. And I think that's as much as I need to really give you in terms of the report, but I'd be happy to take any questions that members might have about the process up to this point, or anything you'd like Cheshire East to consider.
Steve?
Well, it's plain. I mean, the proposal is, this is what we're seriously now discussing with Cheshire East, is much cut back from the original proposal, which had the 5 character areas, and it brings it down to, in fact, I think probably a slightly cut down conservation area, character area 1, which thankfully we've got this on page 4, this colour diagram, which makes sense of it. So you see the interesting factors like ancient highways, which seems to be Flag Lane and Hightown, and maybe even a bit of West Street, and foundation streets, which includes the very first streets in the town, which you can see quite clearly delineated. And we're quite near one of those, I think. Probably Forge. It's not a million miles away from Forge Street either. So presumably this is the new matter for discussion with Cheshire East. Is it fair to say that we decided to rein back on what we were looking at in the first place? Because the 5 character areas presumably is what we want to see in the end. To try and preserve what heritage we still have, and there's plenty of that, as you can see from the various original proposals. And I suppose the question is that how likely are we to make progress on this? This is much reduced, but it does concentrate on the oldest surviving bits of town in the centre. So that's one question, if you like. That's a more wide question. The other one is where you list the the designations and protections on page 6. There are one or two items on that Cheshire's local list which no longer exist. I'm just picking one or two out. Well,
The Earl of Crewe,
the Earl of Crewe is one,
Crosskeys.
the Crosskeys. They're two obvious ones.
Yeah.
And there may well be others, but that's just a couple of examples that obviously no longer can be preserved. I'm not, and then of course additional possible candidates. But is it also fair to, I think it's fair to say, and maybe to make clear, that this doesn't include buildings which are formally listed, listed in Great Britain.
Yeah. So I'll take the local listing first. So as you say, the properties that are on page 6 are as currently the local list stands. So it is fair to say that while local listing provides an element of protection in terms of having of any planning permissions considered within a heritage context and taking the heritage value into consideration, it doesn't protect buildings from demolition, and therefore the current list was created in 2010. It hasn't been revised since 2010, and therefore those buildings have been lost since this list was compiled. Therefore, anything that goes onto the local list could also be seen that way. It doesn't include the listed buildings. There are 32 listed buildings within Crewe. They're all grade 2 listed, so that's the lowest level of statutory protection, but that does give some protection to those buildings in Crewe. So that kind of covers off the local listed element. In terms of the reduction, so yes, the conservation area appraisal as originally developed it gave a clear assessment of the significance of Crewe and its standing heritage within those 5 character areas that were defined by Purcell UK. The need to reduce down is to be ensure that we have the most focus on the area that requires the most protection at this point. Obviously, there's been a lot of redevelopment within the town centre, and we believe that this is the proposal that would be of most benefit to protecting and safeguarding that heritage. There are still areas of concern, the ladder streets, for example, that were originally identified. There is a lot of development in that area, and those developments do reduce the character that was is part of those buildings and still exists. But we are looking at whether there are other planning tools that we can use to support them retaining that, while still allowing the development that we do want of Crewe, and we do want to ensure that this doesn't stop development in Crewe. It just supports the heritage aspects within it.
I think it made important. I mean, in that Cheshire East Council local list, the existing list, there's a couple of places there which fall within the reduced character area 1. The first one that struck me probably was the Liberal Club in Gatefield Street, for example. And it says Technical Institute, another one. And we've already had, had a battle in a sense in relation to one other property in that area, which was an attempt to sort of conserve, which eventually was overturned. So, and that's an example of what we're up against. This is the oldest, some of the oldest parts of town. I mean, without progress, without this ought to really be accepted by Cheshire East for progress to be made. How long would it take Cheshire East or as a planning authority to actually introduce it? Let's suppose they said next month or next week. Yeah, we're fine with that.
Yeah. So we'd need to take it to public consultation. consultation, which was included in the original earmark reserve. In terms of, obviously, we wouldn't do that. It would fortunately been taken that to public consultation and then through the adoption process through the committees. We would be looking at somewhere between 6 months and a year, I would imagine. I haven't got that laid out as a time.
No, but I mean, that's, that demonstrates, I feel like the urgency to make the decision, because this would be like stage one of 5. And when it comes to that, frankly, Knutsford has got 4 or 5 conservation areas already. And as far as I understand it, might be wrong, that they would develop one, not as one block, but in a piecemeal fashion, or a gradual fashion. But maybe you might care to comment, I don't know. What are the risks associated with not making rapid progress, particularly on this one, on this first step?
Obviously, we've seen some changes in the planning legislation, and therefore there is less scrutiny of plans. But when there is no planning protection in place for a heritage asset, even when there is the local list and things, we are losing assets here in Crewe. The conservation area would protect the public realm, because what we're finding is that even where assets are listed, the public realm around it is not protected in the same way that it would be by conservation area. So that grain is being reduced.
So, I mean, in the end, Knutsford has its 5 areas or 6 or whatever it's going to be soon, and presumably because of its the nature of the buildings, I suppose they're good looking, are they? There's perhaps an element of half timber and stuff like that, and later too. But I mean, if Knutsford is seen as a World Heritage City or town, there's no reason. I'll probably say it before, and I'll say it again. There's no reason that Crewe should not be viewed in that same way. It's not so kind of elegant or dramatic as refined even as say Knutsford or other places. But it was the home of the world's greatest railway works for a long time, and that is significant heritage, isn't it, Chair? And that needs to be recognised, and that therein lies, something I think at the heart of the discussion that's going on. It does seem to be, I won't say any more than this. People have been talking about the destruction of heritage in Crewe for decades, and it's there all the time in the news, and the council always gets the blame, whichever one it is, because for knocking things down that didn't belong to them in the first place. Here's an opportunity to stop that and preserve what we have. Because if it doesn't happen, despite our efforts, then there'll be good reason for people, the public, to complain. There's opportunities there for somebody or other to have a campaign, aren't there? And I think that's a role that this town council could take, but I'm not going to prejudge what the other members say. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
I think you are right to raise the role of the town and the importance within it. It should not be underestimated how significant Crewe was in the development of railway towns and in the shift from dormitory towns that were built before Crewe to this was a clear attempt by the railway company to create a town that was a family space, and we still have structures that are not protected that tell that story. So this is an attempt to achieve that.
I think it's fair to say that when we set off on this journey to get some designation within these 5-6 areas that were identified, people think, why would you put that area? Why would you put that? And you pointed out quite clear with Purcell, saying, well, actually, if you look at the architecture, look at the features that are put into what would be ordinary houses, they're unbelievable. but people just dismiss it because he said, well, it's Crewe. Everything's gone. Well, it hasn't. There's streets and streets and streets. Architecturally, it's second to none. When you look at just look at the way that they open the doors and everything inside with your mint and tiles. And with the house I live in, Victorian house, it's got mint and tiles in there, for the potteries. And whilst I haven't got a feature, it's just tiles. It's dismissed. People have taken them out or they put boards on them. But actually, when you look, and that's what we're trying to preserve to some degree. Now we have to say the reality is Cheshire East have not been very helpful. Let us, we're on record and we need to say this. Well, I can say they've not been very helpful. And what they've done is squeezed us down to basically the town centre. And at the meeting an online meeting that was attended by myself, the leader of the council, Pete Turner, with Tom Evans, we got an indication and got a steer from him about this, and that's what led on for the conversation we then had. Should we grasp something that it's achievable or fail and get nothing? And I think the right approach was, let's concentrate on what we can get. Now, I'll be disappointed in the conversations you have with Cheshire East if they don't buy into this, because the indications are we shrunk to that. I think if we could get that plus a beefing up of some of the page 6 of those buildings, which we all clearly know we can visualise them. If we could get some protection to some of those, some have been knocked about a bit, but there's a lot of those that haven't, and that they could be kept. So I think from a planning perspective, I think we need to, if we can get a positive there, I think that is, we've never had anything. When we tried to get previous councillors have tried to get Pam Minshew, tried to get a conservation in a very small area, the theatre, the market hall, the municipal buildings, and the Crown Public House, which was where the original town council was held, in the upstairs of the Crown. Everyone looks at the Crown. Who's the Crown? Well, actually, it's significant in our history. And they tried to get it just on that small area, and it was like, what do you want in Crewe for? There's one in there, You talk about some steps in Macclesfield. Oh, we've got to keep them. It was just, well, it was an attitude. It's an attitude, and you check slowly, professionally. This council with professional officers have changed that perception, and that's key that we continue that. And you're a driving force, and I'll say that on record because we haven't had that. And I think we've just got to. Tom is clear what he said, and I know, I think he was being honourable that afternoon when we had that meeting online. That he said, look, he steered us to there. So hopefully we can get that, and then we can look how we go forward with that. But once we've got the protection, that would help, wouldn't it? So I think, colleagues, it's imperative that we get that buy-in from them that they've indicated, although it's strong, it'll still protect assets within the town centre. And we can see tonight, people are buying properties that they want to do it. There's something going on that I'm missing somewhere, but they want to come into the town centre. Good on them. Let's welcome that. But making sure we keep what we've got.
So, what's the next process to get it where we need to go?
So, as I say, the next process would be to meet with Cheshire to ensure that they have full with the approach, and then to progress that into a new set of document that would support public consultation and then the adoption.
Is that quite a date?
So we hope to have a date in early December.
Oh, right, okay, that's good then. Thank you.
Okay, is there any further questions, or shall we No?
No?
Is it okay?
Anything
Well, thank you,
further?
Vicky. Sorry.
I just wondered, is there anything further that you missed? I just wondered.
No, I think that covers what we need.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'll let him sit you. Okay then. Well, thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Vicky.
Good luck. We'll leave it. Okay then. So that brings us to item 11, which is always a highlight of the evening. So to note the proposed date of the next meeting of the Planning Environment Committee is the 12th of January. Now, because we don't have meetings in December, but what will happen is when we get the planning applications in, we'll look at them and I'll have a meeting with Katie and Liz and then send out comments for yourselves and then we can send them in right today because we're bound to get
Yeah.
so we'll do what we'll do this week.
I do, yeah.
So on that basis then, well, thank you for your attendance, thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, thank you for putting up with us yet again, and I wish you a safe journey home.